Exclusive with Game Informer on N7 Day. You know, November the 7th.
That's Mass Effect, Mass Effect Day.
Yeah.
It's like...
Congratulations on the joke, BioWare. BioWare has released a ton of info on its upcoming sci-fi RPG, Mass Effect Andromeda. The company's pumped the internet full of info via a exclusive with Game Informer on N7 Day. You know, November the 7th. Honestly, there is a literal ton of info on this game, which is due to arrive in March of 2017, and it looks awesome, you guys.
Well, let's just start with the big stuff. Firstly, the game takes place in, you guessed it, the Andromeda Galaxy, where the civilizations of the Milky Way have sent a 600-year expedition of massive spaceships known as arcs. Each arc is led by a pathfinder, and the whole expedition is coordinated from the Nexus, a kind of forward command center that was sent to Andromeda ahead of time and sounds kind of like the Citadel from the original Mass Effect trilogy. Then the Hyperion, the name of the arc that carries the humans on the expedition, arrives at the wrong location and loses contact with the other arcs and the Nexus. You then awake from the cryosleep as your choice of male or female character called a Rider. You have a sibling of the opposite sex with you who'll be able to interact with but won't follow you into combat.
The class system from previous Mass Effect titles, which saw you choose between a soldier, engineer, biotic, or a combination of two of them, is completely gone. Now you get access to a wider skill tree that lets you freely mix and match skills from tech, soldier and biotics to suit your playstyle. You can specialise later on and unlock a new category of skills based on your speciality, and you can even respec your character at certain points in the game thanks to narrative reasons, which are the best kind of reasons. The main enemy you'll be fighting in all this are the Ket, who BioWare want to paint as scary but not ugly. So the idea is that you empathise with them a little bit. It's still a cover shooter at its core, but things like the global cooldowns for abilities and the wheel selector, which pauses gameplay from the previous few games, are both gone. Instead of that, you've got abilities that are hotkeyed to certain buttons for quick use. You still order your squad around, many familiar weapons will make a return, and you can customise different parts of your armour, even more so than in previous games. There's even going to be melee weapons this time around, like hammers and swords, and even jetpacks for more movement variety.
There are some big changes to dialogue and relationships too, and the Paragon and Renegade system kicked out of the window.
How about goodbye?
Dialogue choices are instead categorised as either heart, head, professional or casual options, so decisions aren't necessarily clearly right or wrong. The idea is to provide more nuance and subtlety to the dialogue as opposed to the binary good-evil options you had previously. You can, for instance, agree or disagree with another character without being punished or pigeonholed into a good or evil category. The badass moments where you interrupt scenes make a return, but this time it's not red equals bad, blue equals good. It could just say the word shoot, leaving a lot more ambiguity in the consequences of that action.
So it sounds to me like BioWare are moving closer to the system they've got in Dragon Age, which is of course their other big RPG. And that's where your morality is measured by your companions who comment on what you do and grow to like or dislike you based on your actions. And that is just a much better system if you ask me, and hopefully it will make interactions and conversations just all the more interesting in Mass Effect Andromeda.
My fear is though that it might end up being a little bit like Fallout 4, where none of your actions have any consequences. You can say whatever you like and everything happens the same after. It's like in the original Mass Effect, you know, you could be a total badass and every decision that you made had a consequence. Basically just don't want to be tied in to be a do-gooder. Just boring, isn't it? Just boring.
That's how I play games. I'm always the good guy. Hopefully though, BioWare know what they're doing on that front, because dialogue, to be fair, is one area they have always had control of.
One positive indication, at least, is that the company claim that the squad mate with the least amount of lines in Andromeda has more lines than the squad mate with the most amount of lines in Mass Effect 3. That makes sense?
Interesting.
They've also put a lot of focus on relationships this time around, which won't just end up being all about sex. Some NPCs will want a long-term relationship, for example. What the
Great.
Who plays a game to have a long-term relationship? You play games to get out of your long-term relationship.
Oh, my girlfriend isn't watching this.
Only 2 squad mates have been confirmed so far. PB, a bubbly Asari, and Liam, a former police officer described as having a light attitude.
Yeah, there's a character called Liam in it. I can't wait to meet the rest of the crew. You know, like Darren, Terry, all the other guys with
Pete, George,
names. Dave.
It's got to be Dave.
Keith.
Keith is a Dave. The loyalty missions from the previous games will also be making a return.
Now, the Normandy ship from the original Mass Effect games has a special place in fans' hearts, and BioWare know this, and they've taken this into account with the new ship in Mass Effect Andromeda, the Tempest. The Normandy has had a big influence on the Tempest's design, only this time around there are no loading screens as you move around the ship, and the galaxy map makes a welcome return, except with a more immersive method of selecting your destination, which is meant to just better capture the sense of space travel.
There's no loading screens like No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
Hopefully that doesn't make any indication of how good the game's going to be.
You also have access to the surface vehicle, the Nomad, inspired by the Mako from Mass Effect 1, only better. Just way better, you guys. Honestly, just so much better.
That way, yeah?
Yeah, just better. Seriously though, there is reason to be optimistic about the Nomad. BioWare was given guidance by the team behind the Need for Speed games on how this thing should handle. It's supposed to be very fast compared to the Mako, and boosts and manoeuvres much better. It doesn't have weapons on it, but you can customise its speed and appearance.
The planets you explore will have several points of interest this time too, like combat encounters, puzzles, story elements, and more. There's also environmental dangers like acid pools, fire and weather, but you can send forward stations to establish a foothold for you. These allow you to switch up your loadout and fast travel. Each planet could be home to enemy bases or giant super monsters, and you'll have the ability to scan and discover things which will get you blueprints for new weapons and armour. Oh yeah, and there's crafting, which will get you tons more stuff like weapon mods, ammo and other items.
And multiplayer returns from Mass Effect 3, only this time it's going to be more refined. Just way more refined, you guys. Just so much more refined than last time. Just more refined. It will have microtransactions, but they will be unlockable with in-game currency, and there will be custom missions released by BioWare themselves as well. In the multiplayer, you play as a militia strike team from the Nexus known as the Apex Force, and your online exploits have an effect on the single-player campaign, but it will not affect the game's ending. The endings.
There really is a shit ton of information. If you want to go and check out the list for yourself, there'll be a link in the description of this video. Thanks a lot for watching. Click the thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Hit subscribe if you're new around here too. Why not check out our latest video on Call of Duty Infinite Warfare's shitty sales figures right about here. And we'll see you again next time. Until then, bye for now.